Yeah, back again. Here we go. Yep, camera's on. Okay, well, back at it, working away on the P-47. Trying to work our way on the P-47. Life intervenes, things come up, stuff happens, you know the drill. So I'm going to do just a quick shorty video on what we plan to do here. So as you know, I've been trying to figure out how to best set the standoffs, that is the distance that the lower doors stand off from the landing gear legs, so that when the gear is collapsed into the wing, the doors fit flush against the openings, the fairings. And I came up with an idea, finally. Didn't take more than almost 2 years, a year and a half. Well, actually the wing's only been, I guess, done, so let's say it's taken 3 months. Let's call it. Let's round it down. So I came up with an idea, and the idea, let me just show you how these look, as long as they haven't set up in there. So the door inners, that's this doubler sheet here, 3/32 balsa doubler added to the birch ply, 1/64 birch ply. So these had to be notched out, and the notch is deepest at the bottom, and that's so that the doors sit at, well, it's how they look on the photographs, and it's so that they can fit flush against the underwing surface. So that's what I did. Notched them out. I basically worked them over with the round files, coming at them this way, and you can see that makes it a little difficult in here, so just flip the thing around. Once we get a bit of a groove into it, and we can just do this and press that in, and while we're doing that, we're also kind of flexing a wrap onto this. I want this to wrap just a little bit so that it fits flush against here, so that's kind of why we did it that way. And then once all of that was figured out, you can see how that much reduction there is between the doubler, the 3/32 balsa, and the outer shell, the outer majigger wing landing gear door. So and then on top of that, I laminated cardstock that I cut just slightly undersized to the balsa doubler, and that way it wouldn't interfere or flap or catch on this edge around here. So the idea being that we get a nice smooth surface here with the cardstock. We can add this extra delineation to the groove, which also is evident in the prototype landing gear door on the actual aircraft. And because I wanted to, because I felt like it, so I did that. And then now it's pretty much time to add the green paint, the interior anti-oxide zinc chromate green. And I need to do that here, where I cleaned up a little bit of the wheel well along the skinny length of the well, of the landing gear well. Let's see, this goes this way. So you can see it's deep enough that it doesn't interfere with the door. And this is roughly the position that this door should be in. And also this allows for, if you look on the prototype on the actual aircraft, we've got an actual aircraft going overhead just now. So we'll pause for a moment. And then as soon as the noise abates. Alright, so and then you'll notice that on the P-47 proper, the actual airplane, the landing gear door here at the top has this little bit of a square aperture This is going to be tricky, but I just want to show you what I'm talking about. So this kind of a thing, and it sits and is attached to the door roughly here. So if I'm going to replicate that as well, and that would, I mean, that would fit as far as covering the remainder of this opening out here. I'm going to have to cut it in such a way that it, you know, small enough to fit and angled properly to work with the landing gear leg rotation, if you will. And so that feature will be added out here at some point as well, and it'll be it won't be cardstock, I don't think. If I can get it the right size, I can cut it from the birch ply, but if I can't, then I might consider using the cardstock, simply because cardstock will be flexible and might be able to take a little bit of a beating there. Again, we're not going to be operating the landing gear constantly. Not going to be, you know, it's just a task. It's a challenge for me to see if I can engineer something here that'll look a little bit more scale, actually hopefully a lot more scale than what the plans had indicated. And the plans really didn't give, you know, the plans don't really give you much even for a non-scale or semi-scale appearance of the landing gear. This is heavily augmented. I'm not claiming that it's awesome, perfect. I'm just saying I'm doing different stuff, adding my own embellishments here and trying to get it all to work, and just as a challenge for me. So, and you know, for content for the channel. So, at any rate, that feature might yet be added, and it might not. It may come down to the fact where I can't, you know, the piece wouldn't look right once it was cut up to fit this operation. It may not look scale enough, and then I might just abandon that idea and just leave it like so. But so there's that. All right, and then how is this going to fit together? Well, we know this door fits in here, and we know this door fits in here. Once I fit it in there and get everything situated. All right, and then I was talking about how I was going to attach that. So allow me to not forget that I still need to touch on that. All right, so this door is overlapped by this door, and so what I need to do here, since I don't have the change of extension of the landing gear, in other words, when the airplane's sitting on the ground, the landing gear would be compressed, and this door would overlap this door as it was sitting on the ground. You've seen that image 1,000 times. You don't know what I'm talking about. Look at the P-47 when it's parked on the ramp, and you'll see the landing gear oleos are compressed, which means that the overall landing gear leg is shorter, which means this door has to overlay the outer door. The top door has to overlay the bottom door. As soon as the aircraft comes up off the ground, the landing gear is decompressed, which means it's extended fully. The oleo strut is extended fully, and the landing gear leg is longer at that point, which allows this door, as the gear extends, this door is slid back until it meets the top of the lower door, and then into the wheel well they go. I don't have that modeled on the airplane. I don't have the suspension modeled, so what I will do instead is notch this. We'll just cut it a straight line right across here and remove the corresponding amount of doubler. Obviously the outer door is going to be left to full length, and so what will happen is it should retract into the opening flush with just that little bit of an overlap out here, and that's where the material will be cut away from the inner door, just along that line, so that this will fit. Now again, this out here will be left full length. It will overlap this door. All right, so that's how we're going to do that. So now, how do I get this to set at the right angle? And if I could shine a light in here, you could see that there's a gap there, roughly this this much of a distance between the oleo, or the landing gear leg, and the doubler on the back of this door, roughly this thick. So on down here, it actually fits right up against. In fact, this snuggles right in here. So what I'm going to do is just take a drop of super glue, put it right there, fit the door onto that landing gear leg there, and let that glue bond, so that when I open the door, open the landing gear and pull it down, this door will be set at the proper angle. Then I can just come in with a shim and fit the shim to that exact distance there. And once we know that the shim is the right size, we operate the door up and down. We'll see that it fits snug and there's no gap between the leg and the inner landing gear inner door. Then I can come back with a loop of solder and make a bracket, and we'll do probably the same thing at the bottom, I think, although I think just the glue joint, the glue bond at the bottom should be enough. But I'll look at that and see if I need to. So what I'll do is drill 2 holes through the door, run that loop of solder through, and then use the flush cutters to take it off flush with this door, with that glue bond on the inside, holding the solder to the door, and then just a drop of adhesive on the solder itself as it wraps around the landing gear leg, and that will set everything where we need it to be when the gear is retracted. We'll just do that on both sides. After that's done, I can set up and arrange the upper door, and those I'll set when the gear is in the open position. Because all I need to do there is figure out this distance and make sure that it can swivel just a bit, just about that much, so that when the gear is put in the down position, I can pull this off just a bit, just about maybe a 1/16 or about a 1/16 of an inch. Just lift it away from this door. And then when I retract again the landing gear, I need to be able to press this all the way down and flush against the top of this door, remembering that this again is going to be cut away, which will allow that overlap to lay right flat on top of this. And that'll give us a pretty scale appearance to the landing gear leg in the retracted position. Right? So that's the hope anyway, but job one is to get these set at the right angle, and the way we're going to do that is just by gluing them here at the bottom, letting that cure real good in the closed position here, the gear up position, and that'll automatically set our gap at the top. Hopefully it'll be the same gap. It looks like it is. I know I can't really pull the light down and take the camera off, and you know, I could, and I will when I get a little further into this. How about just a quick, you know, kind of a description of how I'm going to attack this problem. And then that still leaves the inner doors. Again, these are going to be left off, I think, until well after the wing is attached to the aircraft, possibly until after the belly pan and everything else is in this part here. And then we'll get to figuring on how to get these in. But at this point, I'm just going to show you the size. I've readjusted the size that these are going to be cut to, and it's roughly this size where the pencil line is. So they don't need to be this full size. They can be reduced a bit. And with that, and the reason I wanted to do it that way and make sure that these were to the drawing and these are to the drawing, these don't necessarily need to be right to the drawing. They just need to be fitted to what ends up being the actual opening, right? Because the scale appearance of that, whether it's full size or reduced by this much, is not going to be apparent to the eye of the beholder, which is you, or anybody who happens to look at the airplane here at the house. So there you go. You're all up to speed. We got doors. We got a lot of doors, and we still got 2 more to make. And we've got hard points. Got the little other part there. The old plug-in part is cut off. Remember, I said I was going to put pins on these and then just use them, drill a couple of holes for the pins, and set these in there a little bit more durably than just a surface glue line. But then the armaments, the bombs, will be removable. I'm thinking about also adding the tube rockets, the rocket launchers, ground attack configuration for this airplane, and I can use my aluminum tubing for that. And if you look at the prototype aircraft P-47 photos, in that configuration with the 1,000-pound bombs and hard points, and then 2 additional outer points where the 3-tube, there are 3 tubes arranged in a pyramid, rocket launcher. I think they're 5.7-inch rockets. Don't quote me on that. I gotta go look at the reference material. But I'm thinking I want this thing to look like a beast. A ground attack beast on the ground and in flight. But I do want them removable for the different kind of photographs and stuff I'm going to be taking of the airplane. So, right, there's all of that. So this short video ended up being a little bit longer, just like they all do, because I don't know when to stop. I don't want to stop talking. But there we go. I hope everybody has a great day. I'm going to throw this video up on the channel as soon as I can. Talk to you soon.